Hello, it's Monday, the day after Christmas, and we're going to do our video today. And a lot of people have asked, what are you guys doing? Well, we lead a marriage group at our church, and so we've loved talking about this and figure we could reach a lot of people that may have some struggles in marriage or just want to learn a little bit more. And granted, we're not professionals, we don't know everything, but we have learned quite a bit. So I wanted to talk about Caleb, who is being very disrespectful.
Yeah.
And I don't like the way he's being disrespectful and talking to us, and especially me. He's talking back. And are you going to listen to me?
Yeah.
Well, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to help me with him?
I'm trying to do this.
Well, when are you going to talk to me? I'm tired of this. I feel like I can't talk to you about anything anymore. We're having a struggle with our kid here, and you won't talk to me about this. I don't know how to handle it. I feel like I'm always the one disciplining him, and you're just whatever. Does it not bother you the way he talks back? Hello?
To me or to you?
Does this sound a little familiar? This is very frustrating when you're trying to get through to the other spouse. And yeah, it's really nice and easy when, two people are talking and we have a nice conversation. And my mother was over for Christmas and we had a little bit of a spat. So I go, I hear you saying this. And it broke the tension and we both laughed. And she goes, no, I meant this. And we literally had that exchange, and it was kind of funny to put our marriage the way all right, you can put that down now.
Okay.
That was really just for show. But it is very frustrating when you have one spouse that won't talk. You feel like you're the one talking. And a lot of times it's the women, but it's not always. We just going crazy. Obviously, I've kind of lost my voice because I talk so much.
Yeah, it's been a blessing.
No. But if you don't talk, your needs and desires and wants are never going to come out, and they're never going to be met.
We tried to practice this beforehand, and she was all, you're talking too much. And I was like, at this point, I can't grasp not actually having the conversation and just kind of shutting her out and doing my own thing. And I know a lot of guys do that, and they end up harboring frustration about their spouse and about things going on. But the thing of it is if you don't talk, then you can't expect anything to change.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds weird, but once you start talking and you have the communication, you start having conversations, it's really hard not to have the conversations because you start getting your point of view across. If I want Tammy to wear sexy lingerie, I actually have to communicate that to her rather than just hopefully she'll read my mind one day. It doesn't work that way. The same thing if I want her to wear a dress. Wear a dress, wear a dress, wear a dress. And then her mind's like, I guess she wants me to wear a dress. If I never communicate I want her to wear a dress, then she'll never wear one. And how can I ever be upset with that? Conversation is about invoking change and invoking what you want the other person to know about you, your wishes, your desires. If you don't ever have any conversations about sex, clothing, hygiene, then how could you ever be upset with a person that's not doing what you want if you've never communicated what you want? It's like never asking your child to do the dishes, but being mad at them because they've never done the dishes.
Yeah. But I think it also comes down to one spouse may be perfectly happy. Well, there's nothing I want. I'm just content. Okay, is your spouse content? Because you used to care about what they cared about. You used to care how they felt. When you're dating, you did everything to please them and want to make them happy and want to, the smiling glow on their face was what you lived for. Where did that go? Don't you want them to be happy? You might be perfectly fine. And I'm usually way more content in our marriage than he is. So I have to really listen to him when he's like, I really need you to do this. And the person that's talking really needs to listen. You can't be like
waiting for your turn to talk.
Why don't you talk? Right. Well, you just did that, and then the person just shuts down because I do talk. I just talked. I just said something, and you just didn't even hear me.
What?
Exactly. So it really comes down to if you want what you want, you have to talk. Don't do it at the top of your lungs. Don't bring it out in the heat of an argument. Talk about it. And wives who have a husband that just doesn't talk, try your tone. Do it right after sex. There are different things. If your tone
bait and
is,
switch.
we need to talk, I am sick of this, he's going to stonewall and just shut down. Great. Here we go again. I don't have time for this. I got too much to do. And so it can be very difficult, but also it's like, babe, there's something really, really bothering me. And use I statements. And it still can be very difficult. But the more that you do that in a loving, gracious, kind, and approachable manner, hopefully, and a lot of prayer, hopefully that they will turn around and go, okay, I'm ready to talk to you, or I'm ready to listen. And sometimes when he talks to me, I may have a lot of things that I want to say, like, and I just bite my tongue. And I know he does the same thing. You just bite your tongue and listen to the other person when they do talk. And we have a good friend that he never talks, and she's a talker, and she's gotten used to it, but she has also informed me, she goes, but when he does talk, I listen to every single word he says, that I validate everything he says, and I listen. So that's huge, because then he knows, great, when I do talk, it's valuable, it's important, and she listens to me. He doesn't have to say much, but when he does, his wife listens. So that's
it looks like
important.
in the Bible when the Bible talks about your words carrying weight and they never fall to the ground. Well, his words to his wife never fall to the ground because she hangs on every word, because a lot of times he's just a quiet dude, and that's kind of okay. The biggest thing that we're trying to get at is if you have arguments and it's you never do this and you never do that. Well, the never is because you're never communicating what you want done. And that's part of the biggest issue. You're expecting somebody to change without communicating anything at all. And we're not mind readers. Most of us are pretty stupid.
Well, and ask how can I get this across to you? Okay, fine. You don't want to talk? Do you ever want to talk? How can we communicate? What can I do to communicate with you? Because I love you. Why are you laughing?
Nothing.
I love you and I want to communicate with you. What can we do to communicate? Ask them, how can I have a conversation with you? What if something happens that we need to discuss that's serious? How do I talk to you? And you can say it like, how am I supposed to talk to you? There's a tone. Or how am I supposed to talk to you? If you never talk to me or we can't get through things, can we just never have a conversation? I mean, you say it
I
in
like
a very
having conversations in the
gracious,
shower.
humble. Yes, conversations in the shower is good. We have a lot of deep conversations in the shower. I think these people know way too much about our personal life already. So, but anyway, we have a house full of kids, which is why we're kind of holed up in here trying to do this video, because kids are playing with their toys. So anyway, any last moments?
I love you, and you're not stupid.
Did you say I was?
Nope.
All right. It can be very difficult, and we do empathize because we have been there. But it does take a point to where you have to realize, if you want your voice to be heard, if you want your desires and wants and needs to come across, you have to communicate. You have to, and the other person has to receive it. It's like playing ball back and forth. Someone has to throw, someone has to receive, and go back again.
And the more you do it, the easier it gets.
Totally
and it
easier.
doesn't even. You don't even have to think about it anymore. I went.
But the less you do it, the easier it is not to talk.
I went on an errand with her uncle yesterday, and he told me about his friend that always walks into the door and says, "Hi, beautiful," to his wife. And he's done it for 18 years. And so now that's not habit, it's not obligation, it's because he does it. And his wife responds, and it's a wonderful habit. And he was like, that's the best marriage I've ever seen. Why? Because he compliments his wife every single time he sees her. And he might have done it begrudgingly at first, and then I'm just going to do it just to make her happy. But then now it's just a part of their marriage that if he didn't do it, she would miss it. And honestly, he would miss doing it.
Yeah.
And that's the same way with communication. The more you do it, the easier it becomes.
Yeah.
And the more you get things across. And honestly, the more, as a guy, the more things you get out of your wife. If you're actually like, hey, I really need you to do this because it's something I desire. How do we compromise with that? Then,
find a compromise.
Then you actually are fulfilled in your marriage rather than, begrudging your wife because she doesn't want to do the things that you want to do.
That's good.
Yeah.
We should talk about compromise. Unless someone else has a question next week, we can talk about. So, all right. Happy Boxing Day. Have a great day.
We're Canadian, eh?
Hey.
Hey.
Hey.